Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, brought the Warda.
Hello. Hi, Earthlings.
You got literally like the most boring opening ever. Can we do another take?
Sure.
We're not doing another take. Anyway, what's going on, guys? That's
What's
it.
so boring about my whatever? Like,
hello.
Okay, what else am I supposed to say?
Oh, see, that's you. That's you. That's you like, Mother Fathead, what do you got to say now?
Hello.
By the way, you got the Mother Fathead from me.
I don't think so, but anyways.
You don't think so? Who else
so.
on the planet says Mother Fathead?
I do.
You got it from me.
No.
Where'd you first hear it from?
Me. I invented that.
You are so full of crap. I legitimately remember first hearing that from a dude when I was in 11th grade vocational school. He was going to Asbury. We became friends because I used to go to Asbury, and he called me. He said Mother Fathead the one time.
Let's just move on. I invented that word. Anyway.
You see the crap that I got to deal with here? I literally just gave a resume. Anyway, what's going on, guys? We're in rare form tonight. Oh my God, weed's legal in Canada, and now it's legal in
many places
in Jersey now too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't smoke it.
He doesn't.
There we go. You can figure out the rest. So I'm waiting for you to say something.
You look different today.
Nice. So I didn't actually show you. I just came and you didn't come in and say anything. That's why I'm a little bit shocked. But anyway, this is the shirt from those guys that sent me the stuff. So guys, this podcast, this is sponsored by Into the AM. They actually sent me this shirt. They sent me another one too. I'll wear it next week. But Into the AM, and I'm going to make sure that I put all the links below so that you can see it. IntoTheAM.com/CBU10. That's the number 10. And then bang, you're going to get yourself a 10% discount. You could literally buy my shirt or a whole bunch of other shirts and get yourself a $10 or 10% discount while you're at it. Join their club, get a free t-shirt for a month. I'm saying they got a whole bunch of good stuff there. And most importantly, you're supporting the show. But no, they actually do go out of their way to support independent creators. I didn't even show you the sticker. They actually sent me a sticker pack. This is sticker pack 3. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, check this puppies out. Check this out. Ah, I dropped one. Hold on to these while I find the one. Show these guys.
This is what they look like.
Trying to find. That's what that one looks like. Here's this one. Check this one out with the moon. I'm saying the moon is kind of cool.
Pineapple.
The moon is kind of sweet. There's a pineapple? Like my shirt. Nice.
Yeah, seems
what
like
are you doing?
They like the pineapple.
Show them also. Stop showing yourself.
They like skulls.
Stop showing yourself. Show them.
Fine. I don't know how this stuff's supposed to work. That's a skull? Can you guys see that?
You're really bad at this. Give me these. You try and figure that one out. Here's a skateboard. Nice. Digging on that. Okay.
I like the artwork, actually.
Yeah, I'm actually really digging. They really like doing the spacemen. I totally dig on these. And like the hang 10 symbol, the I love you symbol. The wolf, I'm always going to be down with a wolf. Okay, some of these things are actually really sweet. Yeah, they just straight up sent me this stuff. They're really into it. Look at that. I'm going to pretend I'm in Space Force.
One.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to be in Space Force now with that one. So this is the one she's trying to show you upside down.
Oh, it's a skull like...
Yeah, you even said skull.
But I know, like...
Into the AM. Boom. We've got... Here we go. What's this? Stay inspired. That's actually what they keep on saying to me whenever they send me, what do you call it? So you can actually put these right over top of each other. Whenever they send me correspondence, they always keep on saying, stay inspired. I'm like, dude, I actually really like these guys. These guys are generally awesome. So they are sponsoring.
So hippie.
Yeah. They are sponsoring this episode of the podcast. So they're also going to be sponsoring next episode of the podcast, I'm saying. And if you guys buy a little something from them, they might sponsor more, I'm saying. So anyway, that's that.
Okay.
What do we got for the podcast?
I don't know.
Exactly, because you haven't been looking at my notes. You're doing better.
It's just the beginning, so.
That's true. You already looked down. Father, what? Okay, just stop it. This is episode 41. What's going on, guys? So, Professor Bill coming at you. Got some news. So, how'd you like the Mandalorian so far? The first 2 episodes already dropped.
Don't ask.
You haven't been watching it.
I haven't seen it yet.
No, you watched the first season. Twice.
I watched the first season. I'm talking about the second season. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, the first 2 episodes are already out.
Yes.
I'm up anyway because I'm doing all my my studying for the immigration refugee consultation stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'll just stay up and I'll take a break by watching that for an hour, 45 minutes, whatever, and then I'll spend like a half hour or so doing a review on it.
I was planning on binging on it this weekend, but it didn't happen.
It's hard to binge by the time this weekend?
Yeah.
It's only 2 episodes.
I know.
You can't binge for an hour and a half. It's like binging a comic strip.
I know. Maybe tomorrow. I'll probably do that tomorrow.
Well, it's already scheduled to go into a season 3.
Yep.
Yeah, we talked about that
Exciting.
before. But there's a hang-up now. It's going to be a little bit delayed, the season 3 production.
Why?
Well, because next week they're going to start a spin-off from it. And the huge wraparound rumor for it is that it's actually going to be for Boba Fett, season 1.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm actually digging on that. I don't want to give any spoilers for that first episode, but something happened where there's a good chance that Boba Fett is going to be in his own TV show.
I mean, like, that would be really nice, but it'd be interesting to see the relationship between this Mandalorian. Does he have a name? He doesn't have a name.
Yes, Din Djarin.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So the relationship between this Mandalorian and Boba Fett, because, like, they don't seem to be meshing. Boba Fett is more like, I'm a mercenary. I don't care about your ethics.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's got his own pirate's code of honor, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things I think most of us really dig about it. You know who the big stars of the show is, though, right?
No, like, I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
It's Baby Yoda.
Of course.
Yiddle. It's Yiddle.
Yeah. I mean, like,
she knows to call him Yiddle.
At this point, we have three different Yiddles in the house. Yours and the 2 for the kids.
I have the 2, the 2 twin ones for the kids.
And yours.
We all have a T-shirt.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We just have too many.
I think Cal actually has 2 T-shirts.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he's kind of outdoing us in the merch department. But anyway, we're
Maybe Yiddle.
We're a Yiddle house.
Yeah.
We're a Yiddle household. But so somebody goes and mentions on Twitter, we're reporting on a tweet right now. That's how low we've sunk. That
Twitter is news.
Twitter is technically, it can be. So somebody asked, it's got to really suck for this guy, Pedro Pascal, the guy who plays the Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. It's got to suck for him to be playing second fiddle to a puppet. So he actually responds to, and he's like, actually, I don't mind at all.
I mean, it's Yiddle. Like, if it was anybody else, maybe.
Anything else.
What did I say?
You said anybody.
It's Yiddle. Yiddle is person.
Yiddle is life.
Yes.
So anyway, the interesting part of it is that a lot of people wanted me to report on this person called Grace Randolph. She is a comic book, right? She's written a couple comic books in the past. She's been like an extra, a walk-on in a couple of movies here and there. Like she'll play a zombie for a couple seconds in one movie that's killed immediately by one of the Ghostbusters. Whatever. Anyway, but she talks a lot and she picks fights with people who have more views than her and more subscribers than her. So she'll never say anything about me. You know what I'm saying? But she tries to get into fights with people, stir up some trouble so that there could be more people talking about it. And people are just like, the people who she's starting fights with are like, I know her, but like, I don't even follow her. Like, I don't, like, what, why is she starting a fight with me?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so she's kind of one of those people. She's a fairly reprehensible person who just yells a lot about pretty much nothing. People get upset over her because she has contrary opinions to most people, I think. Mm-hmm. And I really dislike her because she makes up stories all the time. One of the stories that she made up was that Pedro Pascal threatened to walk off the set if he didn't get to show his face more often in the Mandalorian, which is this kind of shows it to be somewhat false on its own. You know what I'm saying? But on top of that, just the idea, it's like he's literally saying, no, it's okay, I don't mind. But Like, he signed up for this, and he's a voice actor, and he doesn't get behind the freaking... He doesn't get in that suit most of the time. He's almost never in the suit. It's like several stunt people. So it's just frustrating to hear people like that. But this is one of those things where it's like, this is more relevant as far as news to me than her rumors any day of the week, you know? So if I'm talking about her, it's about how reprehensible she is more than anything else.
I think me and you talked about her before. I found something that was not true.
Yeah.
And then
I shot that down hard.
Yeah.
Because you and I always ask each other, before you tell me about this thing, what's the source?
Yeah.
Go ahead then. And as soon as you said, it's called Behind the Trail, I was like, I don't even want to hear that garbage.
I can't remember what it was, but like it just turned out to be completely...
Yeah, I didn't even hear what it was. Like, I don't want to hear it if it's from her. Like, it's just going to be a little thing that's going to nitpick in my mind. It's always going to be in there.
Yeah.
And it's 90% chance it's going to be a freaking fabrication. So, yeah. So, no more mutants.
What do you mean no more mutants?
Well, that's what Scarlet Witch said in the House of M comic. And all except for 198 mutants were completely obliterated from the face of the planet in the sense that their X gene just completely turned off and they were completely human. So if you were a mutant who had flying powers with wings and you were flying and she said, no more mutants, all of a sudden your X gene was gone, your wings disappeared and you fell down and you died.
Wow. And who did this again?
Scarlet Witch. We collectively called her the Scarlet Bee at that point. It rhymed. So it worked.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of just a lead into the idea that Eric Lewald, the former X-Men animated series showrunner, so he was in charge of keeping the show going. You remember the that cartoon of the X-Men that the kids watch?
Yeah.
That was actually from 1992. That's how old that is.
Okay.
I was still in high school in 92. I graduated in 93. And it's like, to this day, it's still uber super popular. Mm-hmm. It could probably keep Disney Plus running by itself. I'm not exaggerating too much. Anyway, he was talking about a possible dilemma with the MCU bringing the mutants into the MCU. And that is that there's just too damn many mutants to begin with. Mm-hmm. So he remembers that just with the X-Men team alone, it got to be so hard to tell good stories that he reduced it to there only being like 3 X-Men featured in a single episode just so that a story could actually be told. And like reducing the number of villains and everything. So even if he was retelling stories, he made it a lot shorter. It's like, oh, the Morlock Massacre. Yeah, we'll kill off like 3 or 4 of them. You know, it's like that's not really much of a massacre, brah. But that could potentially be a problem going into the MCU, that Feige might want to just start throwing mutants at the screen, and that's probably not...
Too much.
Yeah, it's probably not what we're going to be... I don't know, it's probably not going to, come off very well, in my opinion.
If they're just trying to pack people in or pack characters in, then, like, for me, I don't know those characters very well, so it's going to be overwhelming. I'll be like, who's who? What? And then I'll just spend, Yeah.
Because the X-Men is a team movie. Mm-hmm. It's a team comic book. It's a team, damn it. You got to have a bunch of people in it. But it started off with only 5 members, and then it just kept on growing and started to take a life of its own. And, yeah.
I mean, I like the stories that center around Professor X and, like, his school and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So, if they go that route. Mm-hmm. But then again, it's been done.
It has, and lately, actually for the past several decades, some of the best X-Men stories are the ones where they're in space. And it's like, well, that's kind of detracting from the original story. Mm-hmm. But, no, I hear what you're saying. Just keep them in the school, and at least you've got something there. No, that could be a really great way to tame it. I like that idea.
Yeah.
So, the Batman movie.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Robert Pattinson strikes again. He's got something to say, as always. Can't keep his big mouth shut and just be in the freaking movie. You saw what he looks like in the freaking movie. I'm Gothman. We want Batman, but I'm Gothman. So, he decides to, Vanity Fair France decided to talk to him, and I wish that more people would just stop talking to him. He says that he's trying to build a more nuanced take on Batman Bruce Wayne. He says, I look first at the character and what I have to do with it, how I'm going to have to invent nuances in this shell, making it more complex all the time. Like, he really doubled up on that. What was the purpose of that? Batman is a role in which I have to learn how to play ambiguity better. It's out of the question to interpret a character of a single color. Like, why are you getting racial, bruh? Why are you getting racial? So he says, it's beautiful. People who seem to live in two states at the same time. And then imagine you love to cook, and after years you succeed in obtaining the perfect dish, the healthiest, most balanced, the tastiest, the most subtle. Would you honestly eat it every meal? No! What you would secretly dream about is to make you a nice fat cheeseburger. Like, what the hell is this person on? Why does this person exist? Why is he in my ear? Why am I doing that voice?
You really don't like him, eh?
I really don't like him. I genuinely do not like him. I do not approve of him in this role. People keep on saying, no, Professor, you got to see this movie that he's in. Oh, he kills it. So we saw that one movie, and it's like, you yourself were like, the whole movie was believable until he showed up.
Yeah, he's too overdramatic. He's like, that art kid in your class that takes art way too seriously, over-explains things. Yeah.
It's like, just draw, dude.
Yeah. Just
freaking draw. Stop with your T-squares and your protractors, and just draw, man. Yeah. I'm sorry. Like, there's some people who are going to be into him. I'm happy that you're into him. But me, like, I wish he would just go away. He's already in the movie. He's already going to be Batman and Bruce Wayne. Okay, just do the freaking thing. Just please shut up. Stop making me hate you more. You know what I'm saying?
What's the rationale of rebooting Batman and having him in it? Is that going to take us on a too big of a tangent?
Good question. No, literally, like, why are we retelling a story again? Why are we doing why are we recasting? Why are we doing all of this again?
Because, like, it's been done at least twice within the last decade, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so this will be the third time. I mean, I know it's 2020, but, like, if we go just by 10 years, like, they keep on just rebooting the same stuff, and it's the same character. Batman. Like, do you want us to hate Batman? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, what exactly is happening here? Professor, how could you not want to see this movie? Haven't I explained it enough? Like, I'm just so tired of constantly getting this stuff from people who don't know the character. But of course, you got to act like you know the character. Here, I'm gonna tell you something that a lot of people don't understand about being a comic book YouTuber. The how do I explain this? The almost need to act like you know something that you don't actually know because somebody asks you about it. Mm-hmm. Somebody says, hey, what do you think about so-and-so's run on such and such? You know me. I'm just going to be blunt and just be like, yeah, I never read that. I heard good things about it. Or, no, I've never even heard of that one before. Mm-hmm. The desire to try and act like you do know these things because you're always afraid, and then it always winds up happening. Somebody saying, oh, thought this was a comic book channel. So I'm supposed to have read every single comic book? Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
Really? What I also get, oh, comic book university, huh? Do universities know everything? And do universities only have one professor? Like, what are we doing at this point, man?
I know.
Like, they're just people who just love to complain. As I'm complaining about this movie. But no, people that choose to complain about the silliest freaking things. So I always get somebody asking me, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And sometimes I really just don't know. I don't have an opinion on something. I don't know. But then when I see something like this, and I see somebody making this movie because they were tapped, hey, Matt Reeves, you want to make a Batman movie? It's like, I would love to make a Batman movie. Hey, isn't Ben Affleck's supposed to do that movie? Yeah, we're going to pull him out because he's a drunk and blah. You know what I'm saying? And then, well, okay, so you're going to go in and make this movie. Do you actually know the character? Have you actually read the comic books? Or are you just going to make something else entirely different because, you know what I'd love to see? No. I don't want to know what you love to see, dude. I don't want to know what you'd love to see. I want to know, did you read the comic book? Mm-hmm. What stories have you read? What arcs have you read? What writers have you read? What reader or what artists have you read? So I know what the Batman's going to look like, what stories you might tell. And of course, instead, he just says the same stupid thing that every single freaking monkey-faced moron decides to say whenever they're going to approach something new with Batman. Oh, my favorite story has always been The Long Halloween. Shut up. I highly doubt you've ever read The Long Halloween. I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
Because everybody says, I've read The Long Halloween. And then they tell you, it's like, oh, well, like, what was your favorite part? Or you go and you see the freaking thing that they produce, and it's like, this has nothing to do with The Long Halloween. There was no influence from The Long Halloween. Like, The Long Halloween is considered a great story because it was a genuine mystery. It was a genuine thriller. Batman was actually the world's greatest detective in this. And we weren't totally sure why it ended the way that it ended, or if the people involved were actually those people. It kept on making us think, oh my God, this was the guy. And a lot of times it's like, it makes perfect sense that this is the guy. But it turns out, no, it was actually this guy instead. And where's this going? And holy crap, it literally kept everybody on their toes.
Yeah.
And every so often on their heels because reeling back from something sick that happened in the freaking story, And then, so people always hear, The Long Halloween, The Long Halloween, The Long Halloween. Really? Okay, cool. Show me. And no.
Yeah.
I have yet to see anybody actually show me a real influence from The Long Halloween. So as soon as somebody says, that's like when I hear somebody, when somebody says, oh, what's your favorite band? Oh, my favorite band is Led Zeppelin. Oh, yeah, I love Zeppelin. Oh, they're trying to do some kind of camaraderie. And what do they always say? Oh, yeah, man, like Stairway, best song of the world. Really? You freaking poser. Name me one other song.
Yeah.
Come on. One other song that they do. They've got 9 albums. You can't name me a single other song besides Stairway? You're a chump. You're a jokester. Get the hell out of my face. I hate when people try to act like they know something that they don't know. So,
this movie is coming out in 2022?
Yeah, March 4th, 2022.
Yeah, it's a long while from now. I'm just reading what he said in this quote that you have up.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking about what he is going to add to the character. Not what he is going to learn from the character. And, not the research that he's going to do, when it comes to the character. Because, a lot of times when actors are portraying a character that has been done or a character that, is a real character, there's a lot of pressure in terms of, looking back and trying to figure out how this character has been portrayed, who this character is, and whatnot. And he is going in and, he wants to impose his art on the character. So that's going to be telling. Mind you, I'm probably not going to watch this movie, so.
We could not watch it together.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, Robert Pattinson, Pattinson, he's my twinkling vampire.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Vampires don't sparkle, fairies do.
He's my twinkly, sparkly vampire.
So, March 2022. You know what's supposed to come out 3 months before that?
What?
Loki Season 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I talked about this before, that Clark Gregg, that's Coulson. Mm-hmm. Remember Coulson from the Avengers movie? And the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV series? He had a little oops moment. And he was like, oh, yeah, I was looking at the scripts and everything for Loki, and I think it's supposed to go up to 10 or 12 episodes, something like that, I forget. And it's funny because it's already been reported on before that there's only going to be 6 episodes. So how interesting. Mm. And now there's reports that production is supposed to begin for Season 2 of Loki.
Okay.
In January.
Yeah.
How sick is that, right?
It is.
So, and I said 3 months prior. It's actually 2 months prior, January, February, March. But anyway, I can math.
Okay.
And I can admit when I'm wrong. I wonder if freaking Matt Reeves and Paddington can do that. Paddington Bear. But anyway, so that's actually really good to hear that the freaking first season, we don't have an airing date for when that's supposed to show up, and they're already talking about, oh yeah, man, and that's what I love to hear. When they have that much confidence in their product.
Who's going to be acting in Loki? Is it the same actor?
Right now we've got, Tom Hiddleston is going to be Loki.
Perfect.
Could you imagine somebody trying to replace him?
That's just, Like, we have had this conversation many times. I love the character Loki. Like, I know he's evil and everything, but, like, I'm just always waiting for him to be redeemed. So, like,
it's people like you that keep the freaking Thor and Loki rivalry going. When I'm just like, I would kill my brother in a heartbeat.
like,
if my brother was trying to kill me...
help me scene. Like, that was so funny. What movie was that in?
That was Ragnarok.
Yeah. Oh, that was so funny. I know he's evil. Like,
you liked him from the first movie.
I did. Like,
Uh-oh.
The point where they actually kill him. What movie did they kill him?
The end of the second movie. Dark World.
When did they kill Loki?
At the very end. Oh, you're talking about... sorry, they acted like he died in that one. What do you call it? He also died in Endgame. Not Endgame, whatever, the one before that. Yeah. Infinity War. In the beginning of Infinity War.
Yes.
Yeah,
I was so mad. I legit... Like, I was like, I'm gonna leave.
Be honest. Is it because he's cute?
Partially. But, like, his character is so complex. I was just really mad. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't hear the rumors. And then right from they kill him. And, like, he's done all this, like, crazy stuff where he survives. And I know now he's not, like, he choked him. He's dead. Thanos killed him good. So I was mad.
I'm like, good. He's a bad guy.
He was trying to save his brother.
Oh, give me a break. He was sitting there watching him getting choked out, bluffing with the guy's life because he wanted to keep the freaking Tesseract. I don't even want to hear it.
I know. And then I questioned myself, and I'm like, woman, what's wrong with you?
I am so glad. You know what? Like, I'm being honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, your thing with, he's hot, therefore, you know what I'm saying, let it slide. No, guys do that too. Guys probably do that even worse. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm a guy. I can speak for guys.
I mean, like, would you bat so much for Hela? Hela is pretty.
Hela was a hottie. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, but would you be like, oh no, she's good? No, Loki is complex.
Okay, well, she was also in one movie and whatever, but he was also supposed to be in only one movie too. Granted. Yeah, I don't know what it is. He just comes off as, you know what it is? You know what it is? Look, you're black, okay, but mostly it's white women. When white women speak, the world listens. We just watched that one comedian not too long ago, and all these other comedians also talking about this. What, Patrice O'Neill, I think his name is? Whatever. Died in 2011. Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
So women loved Loki?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure lots of women loved Loki, but they listened to the white women.
Oh, well.
I'm just playing off all these other jokes.
I don't know. I didn't want him to die.
Yeah, it's fine. That's fine. Not everybody wants everybody to die. So, you want to tell me about the top 10 trending on Netflix?
Yes, I have that here.
Netflix Canada. I want you to tell me about the top 10 trending movies in Canada.
So the first one is Aquaman.
Now, isn't that a little bit weird?
Why?
Aquaman is a DC movie.
Yeah.
There's HBO Max, which they made a big deal about HBO Max. Hey, all those DC streaming service movies, we're ending those, and everything's coming over to HBO Max, baby. So, okay, you got HBO. Yeah, that's sweet and all, but...
What, isn't it there?
Well, no, it's there. I think it's there. I think... did they just get rid of Wonder Woman? I don't remember. They had all the movies on there, and then they took all but, 3 off. Then they took one of those off also, and they're going to try and rotate them in and out. Didn't
they also have Wonder Woman in Netflix at some point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but HBO Max wasn't a thing at the time.
Okay.
But now it is. And it's like, so aren't you supposed to, stop? No, it's good for other places, but it's like, if I'm signing up to frickin' HBO Max because I want to see the DC movies, well, why are you going to take it off of there and go show it on Netflix instead? What if I cancel my Netflix subscription?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you know what? Maybe I should just go and buy the DVDs for now on. Maybe I should just download them. It's not even illegal up here in Canada to download movies. You know?
Yeah?
Yeah. You saw. How many times did I get in trouble for a certain TV series that shall not be named? Because I feel a little bit hypocritical over it. But I'll be honest, like this was what, a couple of years ago, and you got multiple notices and like, yeah, the guys in America said blah 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 blah. It's our responsibility to report this too, but don't worry, you're not in any trouble.
Yeah.
We're like, should we stop? It's like, no, feel free to do whatever you want. They just like it's never been a problem. We never reported before, but now they made it a law that we have to report that. Hey, blah 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 blah. But it's not illegal, so feel free. Like, all right, cool. I'm going to do it some more.
Yeah.
We got used to it because in Saudi Arabia we couldn't get access to those things. So when you first came back to Canada, and I first came here, it was like, how are we going to watch these shows? The only way we knew was to download them. So I'm making excuses for being a thief right now. I feel so freaking bad, but I don't illegally download movies anymore. My peeps, don't. Anyway, so I just feel like that's a little bit hypocritical in and of itself, that they're going to be like, the movie, it's ours now. We're going to sell it to Netflix. What else you got?
Next, Queen's Gambit.
Okay.
What do you know about it?
Queen's Gambit is supposed to be something to do with chess. Queen's Gambit is a chess move. Mm-hmm. And I read the thing really quick, something about a chess move and a thing and a game of chess, and it's supposed to be, I don't know, something like that.
I've been hearing a lot of good things about it.
Me too.
Like, it's well done. Apparently the guys are not sleazy, so the main character is a woman who is in an environment where they're just all guys, right? And usually the storyline is like, oh, these very sleazy guys making her life harder. Apparently that isn't the story. So
apparently that's not the story?
That's not the story.
Thank God, because I'm getting kind of tired of those stupid freaking movies.
So I'm really looking forward to checking it out. But it's like, what, 2 hours long or something like that? Okay. No, it's a series. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a mini-series.
What else you got?
So that looks good. Operation Christmas Drop. Some sort of a Christmas movie. Yeah. The next one is Peppermint. It's older.
Yeah, I read that. I read the preview thing for it, and I was like, next.
Yeah, and then the other one, number 5, is, I'm going to mispronounce it, Papillion? Papillion? It's like...
Papillion, yeah.
Yeah.
What does it say?
Forger and a Thief.
Forger and a
Those were just
Thief.
my notes.
Yeah.
It was like, these two people, I don't know, unite, hook up, whatever the phrase, and they're trying to survive. One is a forger, the other one is a thief. And
tale as old as time.
Yeah, it kind of seems like a post-apocalyptic type of world or something like that. Like, just doesn't look very good. It looks dreary.
The Western Bloc in the European Union, a lot of times they'll depict movies like that.
Yeah, maybe. True History of the Kelly Gong?
Skip through those next two, because...
Holiday, Mr. Deeds.
Mr. Deeds is an Adam Sandler movie that came out like a decade or 3 ago.
Maybe a decade and a half. A decade and then a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe I watched it.
Back in the strange. Yeah. But they wouldn't put on anything older than that, right? What's the next one? The
next one, Sister.
That is old as hell. Tia and Tamara.
Yeah.
Maori, yeah.
Maori twins.
Freaking loved that. That was like the show. I'm literally, as I'm out here doing the research for tonight's podcast, you're out there listening.
Watching.
You got 3 episodes in?
3 episodes, yeah.
I'm sitting there listening to the whole time. I was like, I remember these. That was from the beginning you were watching, right?
Yeah.
Number 10 trending in Netflix in Canada.
That's amazing. I don't know if it started yet or not, but they're going to have also Girlfriends. I don't know if you've ever seen...
Yeah, I've seen like the first season. I think there were 2 or 3 seasons of it.
We were in love with Girlfriends and Sister. My parents were very pro Sister. Girlfriend, we had to hide and anyways, we had to go through so many hoops to watch Girlfriends.
Tell me when they bring the Martin Lawrence show back on TV.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's...
Mulan.
I'd rather you not necessarily read them right away. You don't know where I'm going with this.
Okay, fine.
Here's the top movies in the U.S. or the top trending in U.S. So you have Queen's Gambit is number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Chappelle's Show, which I just got the DVD for cheap.
Yeah.
We just finally watched it. Like, I finally got to show you that. Cocomelon, Grand Army, The Office, like, jeez. The Haunting of Bly Manor, which I heard some good things about. Schitt's Creek, which has been out for a while. The Garfield Show, which is hysterical. I love that. Garfield. The fat orange cat that always eats lasagna.
Oh, really?
Garfield.
Wow, that's like number 8.
Yeah. Number 9, 60 Days In, whatever that is. And number 10, Leah Remini, Scientology and the Aftermath. You remember Leah Remini, whatever her name is? From Kings and Queens. It was the wife.
Oh, yeah, she doesn't like Scientology.
Yeah, she hates Scientology. There was a big Joe Rogan podcast with her in it, and she was just blasting her ex-friend because she's still in Scientology and stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I wonder if it's available in Canada, because I would like to watch that. Scientology has always been very interesting to me. They're kind of like, they're almost not real, but then they're real.
They almost got me in Washington, D.C., because they have the big place there, and it's open, and it's just like somebody standing outside, and, hey, what's going on? You interested in coming and checking out Scientology? I'm like, and I'd like talk to him for a little bit. I was like, okay, so seriously, like, there's some crazy stuff going on with like Tom Cruise and stuff. That was before he was even jumping on couches and whatnot. And like, I keep on hearing stuff with John Travolta. It's like, these are literally just rumors that you're hearing, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh no. And I was like, I'm going to go get some chicken. I'll talk to you later. I got some Moroccan chicken, heavy pepper on Moroccan chicken, I'm saying. But it was still good. I ate it. I mean,
the chicken saved you.
The chicken totally saved me from being a Scientologist.
There is a big, I don't know how big actually. It is decent Scientology church in downtown Toronto-ish, downtownish.
Makes sense that it'd be
but
downtown.
like it looks like a fortress though. Like it's like on the corner of a street, and just there aren't that many windows. Every time I drove by, I remember thinking like, it feels very impenetrable. Yeah.
It's the motif they're setting up. So let's look at the top streaming movies right now. Hamilton, the movie, is top streaming in the world. So this is not just Netflix. This is all over. This is actually getting somewhere, guys. So pay attention to this. Hamilton is the number 1 streaming movie in the country right now. Borat 2 is, this year's second top. Third is My Spy. Fourth is Extraction. Fifth is the Phineas and Ferb movie, Candace Against the Universe, which is incredible. The 6th is Mulan. Now, I want you to think about what's so special about that. Yeah. Mulan is the only one of these that you have to pay for.
Yeah.
There's no free option for Mulan until next month, right?
Yeah.
So think about that. All that I've been trying to report, it's doing, not great, not according to what they wanted to, but it's doing a hell of a lot better than a lot of people are giving it credit for, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens now? All of a sudden, it's the 6th most, and it's the only one that you actually had to pay $30 for.
Yeah.
So although it's not making the bank that they wanted it to make, these options are still open. And I've been seeing a lot of other people talking about, let's see if we can make some more streaming movies. Hey, let's see if we can, consider optioning our movie for streaming. A whole lot of people talking about this. And I'm like, well, if Mulan did that bad, why would they do that? So even though those official numbers haven't been released yet, how much they've made for Mulan, I've been seeing what everybody else, in the industry is looking at. And I'm saying, you know what? If they're into it, they're not just, doing it on a whim. They've got focus groups.
Yeah,
they've got paid marketers. They've got paid researchers looking into all of this stuff. So, yeah, Mulan actually did a hell of a lot better than people are giving it credit for. So that's just what I'm noticing. There's The Old Guard at number 7, The Trial of the Chicago 7, number 8. I've actually been looking to watch that. And number 10 is The Lovebirds.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
Yeah, you did.
What did I miss?
Number 9.
What's number 9?
The Witches.
Roald Dahl's The Witches. Yeah. Huh. I guess that's going to lead me into my next topic.
Okay.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
So, The Witches, starring Anne Hathaway. You ever heard of ectorodactyly? Ectorodactyly. Tilly. Anyway, this is a thing that you're born without certain limbs or appendages.
Okay.
It could even be like it could be fingers, it could be, ends of your arm, whatever.
Yeah,
all right?
I've seen that.
Okay. So, yeah, there's another name for it, but that's supposed to be like the actual name for it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the original book, The Witches, the witch had, or the witches, whatever, had 5 fingers, and they were all taloned. So there was like big fingernails or claws at the ends, big talons at the end. But in the new one, starring Anne Hathaway, we've got, okay, seriously, I don't have a picture of this? That's just unacceptable. I'm positive I had a picture someplace, but apparently I have failed miserably at this. So, excuse me. What we have is Anne Hathaway with missing the middle 2 fingers, and then just having the thumb and then the 2 extended fingers. Yeah. And she, and they're clawed, and she goes like this. Pretty simple, straightforward thing.
People are not happy?
Yeah. There's some people who are upset and going, you made the evil bad guy like us.
Okay. You mean like the witches like us? They made the witches...
You made the witches who are missing fingers and digits and things like that like us. So there's a big push. There's TikTok videos, Instagram video, whatever. These videos going out of people saying, my disability is not something for you to feel bad about. I reject your pity. I am not to be pitied, and stuff like that. It's like, I don't think that anybody was pitying you by doing this movie. Like, it feels bad. It's like I'm making fun of, you can't say handicap anymore. You got to say, like, otherly abled, I guess. Whatever.
People with disabilities.
People with disabilities. There you go. Anyway. Yeah. So you it's like, nobody's trying to make fun of, I really don't think that anybody made that to try and be like, okay, listen, this is what we're going to do. We got to demonize these people who are missing appendages and limbs and fingers and stuff like that. We got to demonize them. We got to make them look like, we got to make the witches, the evil witches, the bad guys in our movie. Mm-hmm. We got to make them, we got to depict them as evil and make them look like them.
Is it a loud enough noise?
It's loud enough that it made the movie the movie people say, "Oh, I apologize," and Anne Hathaway got on there. It's like, listen, we didn't mean anything, but you are owed an apology. And it's like,
I gotta check that out.
I don't mean to be a jerk right now, but is anybody really owed an apology?
Honestly, I don't know. I can't say. I mean, like, a lot of times we don't take into consideration how things impact people. So it's
of course.
When we're, especially like when we're the standard, right? It's like my gender or my orientation or my physical body, like it's just the standard. So it's like we do things and we're not considering the people who aren't like us. So from that perspective, I'm like, okay, I just have to, I don't know, I have to see the whole thing to have a strong feelings about it one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. That is a very mature response, because I didn't go over this stuff with you beforehand. And I only looked at this for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
This was actually the article I looked into the longest, just because I wanted to gauge, I wanted to have a feeling about this. And all I've really got over it is somebody was just making a movie.
Yeah.
Somebody got offended when it wasn't targeting them, but they felt targeted. They got triggered over something. And then they said, "Rawr, we're angry." And then they got an apology. Then they turned around and said, "We are not to be pitied." It's like, you're shining a goddamn spotlight on yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, is this honestly, like, it just feels disingenuous to me. That's the thing that kills me. It's like, if you weren't offended and you're not going to be pitied or anything like that, shut your damn mouth. No, honestly, like, shut your damn mouth. I don't see a problem with it. Look, white guys, we're told to shut the hell up all the damn time. Our opinions don't matter. Shut up. You've been in charge long enough. Actually, I guess you could kind of argue that my father was maybe, but I've never been in charge. I don't know where that's coming from. But, like, I just see this world as being so... Meanwhile, isn't it white women who need to just shut the hell up? Like I said, all the comedians talking about this, we see this. This is what gentrification used to look like. And if you're a white woman and you're offended, maybe, honestly, maybe there's a reason why. Maybe you're starting to feel some kind of white female guilt. I don't know. Like the male guilt and white guilt and things like that. I don't know. Like I'm genuinely joking around. But I seriously look at this as the face of colonization and imperialism used to look like white men with guns. Nowadays, it looks like white women with Gucci bags and puppies sticking their head out of it. And suddenly the neighborhoods are gentrified and we're, areas that used to cater to this, culture or this ethnicity or that ethnicity, now they're getting a Whole Foods thrown in there.
Yeah.
And it's like now all of a sudden the rent is being raised and lifestyles and cultures are being wiped out and whatnot. And it's like, it's not white men that are doing this. It's white women, preppy, prissy white women who have the Kardashians saved on their phone and like, oh, I'm friends with them and things like that. Is this feeling uncomfortable for you? Because I never feel that. I'm literally speaking my mind. Mm-hmm. Like, there are people they're born with, or they're either born amputees. I think that's how somebody described it on here. And there are people who actually have limbs amputated and things like that. And it sucks. And here's the funny thing about it. Isn't it a natural response to look at someone, like if you ever seen a cat missing its tail or a leg, or a paw?
The thing is, like, when it comes to witches and whatnot, those are supposedly like creatures that are evil, right? Like a lot of times that's how they're portrayed.
Different topic.
Okay.
Different topic. Don't you feel bad? Don't you naturally feel bad for an animal?
Yes.
Okay. Do you always go over and like give it a saucer of milk or try and help it or whatever? No, it's just, oh, I feel bad, and then you walk away. Mm-hmm. Because clearly this creature is differently abled than the other creatures. And you wonder, do the other creatures, shun it? And so on and forth. Like, I wonder myself, do the other creatures shun it? Or do they interact with everyone? It's like, oh, they learn to adapt and it's like, okay, so we're all good. Like, it's a natural response. And likewise with other humans who are missing, let's say, a finger or, some other appendage. Like, isn't it the humans, the non-sociopaths, who do look and go, oh man, that sucks. Wow, this person's missing an arm. And like, we naturally look at things that are different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I remember when I was I like 12? I was in a bar with my father. I had one of those kind of relationships. I was in a bar with my father, and there was this guy who was missing his right arm. But he had it to like 2 or 3 inches below his elbow. Yeah. So he was still able to like hook things. He was still able to grab things. So he would grab with his left hand a beer bottle or a beer mug, and then another beer mug with, his right arm. You know what I'm saying? That like the elbow crook.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, and he's getting along, and I'm watching him. And I'm sure he's used to people staring at him. And it's like, that sucks, bud. But this is my first time seeing something like that. And I'm seeing somebody who's like, wow. And I was a kid. And like, I tried to not make it look like I was looking while still looking. But it's like, it's odd. And it's strange. And it's like, I have to look at this. Yeah. I have to see how it's work. And it just made me understand the process better, that this guy is, at the time we would say handicapped. This guy is handicapped. Yet, look at how he's handling himself. Like, this guy's a bartender. Mm-hmm. I actually asked my dad, does he own this bar? And he's like, yeah, he does. I'm like, holy crap. Mm-hmm. So this guy's essentially better off than all of us. Look at what he's done with his handicap. or despite his handicap. Holy crap. And it's like, this is a growing moment, a learning moment. But no, instead, I see something like this thing where I will not be pitied. Who the fuck asked you?
All of it is like noise online, though, right? Like, these are not interactions in real life.
It's one of those things where it's like, bro, maybe you feel bad about yourself. Maybe that's the problem. If I trip and I fall, and yes, I'm making this comparison because this is what I can make a comparison to. You know what I'm saying? Oh no, ow, I'm hurt. You know what I'm saying? I expect somebody to come over and be like, oh, hey, dude, are you okay? Because it's not normal to trip. It's not. It happens. Mm-hmm. But I would, like, if I'm in a crowd and nobody stops, imagine if people walked on me, you know what I'm saying? But like, if nobody stops and, hey, showed some common human courtesy, Do you remember that one time that I saw that one guy that looked like a bum? All four of us were in Wendy's.
Yeah.
This was a couple of years ago. And I saw the one guy who looked like a bum. And I got up and I walked over to him after, you guys had left. And I said, hey, brother, have you eaten?
Yeah.
And he got so pissed off at me. And it's like, I could honestly give a rat's ass about your feelings right now. Because I was more concerned about your stomach. Mm-hmm. So your feelings can go eat a fat one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just me. It's like I have to prioritize the idea that my compassion unfortunately infringed upon your fifis, you soft, tender little snowflake. I was concerned, but your pride, and it was quiet. I whispered it. There was no one else around.
I honestly don't know how to feel about this movie and the way they represent it and whatnot. What I wanted to say is...
What I'm more bothered is the reaction by the people with the...
All of that. All of that.
It's childish to me.
Hold up. When we represent people who are missing limbs or who have disabilities, both in cinema and historically, the way that we talked about people with disabilities, that they were demonized, right? They were like the ones that worked for the witches. They were the dirty ones. They were the evil ones, whatnot. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if it's carrying on in that tradition, then I could see it being problematic.
Mm. I'm actually glad you brought that up because going into my rant, I forgot that was something I actually wanted to bring up also. Mm-hmm. That this is something that people would do in the past also. It's like, oh, this person is missing a limb. It's obviously a punishment from God. Yeah, exactly. It's obviously a punishment from God. They've done some sin and they're being punished for it. Or this is the devil is in them and we've got to put rocks on them to get the devil out and stuff like that. Yeah. I get that. But these days aren't those days. This to me, like when you say that, this literally, the way, when you said it, suddenly that reminded me, that's the white men argument. White men in the day used to be in charge and tell other people to shut up. Apparently, that's what we've seen in movies. So nowadays, we're going to tell the white men to shut up. And it's like, why am I being punished for my ancestors? Why exactly is that a thing? I don't understand right now. Is there going to come a time when the white women are punished? I'm on the white women thing again. Literally, like, I honestly just don't care. And if somebody tells me to shut up, they can suck a fat one also. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will not be shut up by anyone. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. You can talk all you want. It's just the people that, it just comes off as so ridiculous, so petty. Look at me! Look at me! I'm important and I'm relevant. No, you're not. You're a fadeaway. And your 15 minutes of fame is more like 4 seconds of, are you an idiot? And I'm going to turn my back just like everybody else and we're going to walk away and we're going to go on with our days. And it's like the only thing I'm going to remember are these people, and some of them look like they were crying, and then they got some kids to try and memorize lines to say, my amputation is not to be pitied, or whatever the hell it was that they were saying. It's like, dude, this is...
I gotta look this up.
Yeah, it was just so sad. It's like, it's a freaking movie, and this is what they did to try and make the witch look scarier. And you know what? Sorry, it did look scary. And are we trying to normalize it so that we don't look at each... You remember that one episode of House? I think it was from season 7. I forget though. The one episode where right in the beginning, there's the little girl who's screaming. So in House in the beginning, they always made it look like this person was in trouble. In reality, it was that person who was in trouble instead. There was always that distraction. It was one of the things that really got us into the episodes, remember? So they had the one little girl that was screaming at the train station, and then you realize she's screaming because she sees the guy who's got the big tumor coming out of his head, the teenager who had the tumor coming out. And the father comes over and starts yelling at her father, saying, you better teach her, blah, blah, blah. Well, actually, the teaching moment was when she was screaming. The moment you started screaming, now it's not a teaching moment anymore. Now it's, let's get away from this crazy person who's probably going to get violent because my daughter's never seen your kid with this big freaking tumor coming out of the head. Hey, I'm sorry that your kid has a tumor coming out of its head. Maybe this is a teaching moment for my daughter. Or maybe it could just be, trust me that I'm going to go off. I'm going to say, kiddo, it's still just a kid. It's not a monster. That's another kid. And he's normal just like you and me. Like, we take away these valuable teaching moments with nonsense like that freaking thing. I don't think that anybody's owed an apology. And I don't think it's cruel of me to say, well, it's basic human decency that you don't want to hurt people's feelings. But the thing is, if no intentions were to hurt someone's feelings, but someone got offended, for me, it's like, bro, I don't want you to feel that way. But an apology is something that you give and you mean. It's not something that you just throw out there. It's like the freaking Canadians do. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, sorry. None of you mean it. None of you mean it. Sorry means nothing in Canada. And I hate the idea that sorry means nothing in the world today with the SJW, excessive culture that we've got. It's like, can things actually mean something? Stop saying, I'm not a victim, but I demand an apology. How about this? Shut up. It didn't have anything to do with you. No, seriously, shut up. If we could forget that Native Americans still exist to this day, and that plenty of people, like thousands upon thousands of Native Americans, don't just have a drop of Native blood in them, if we could forget about an entire race of people, I think that, people who were born with this, whatever, it's like, dude, seriously, shut up. Yes, I'm saying,
I think
shut
there
up.
Has to be a
Grow
better,
up.
There has to be a better, not compromise, but a better way to handle it than a shut up or a complete outrage, So.
But it's the way that they did it. I hear what you're saying. And I know that there's a certain level of immaturity to them, but it's like, this is what comes to my face. If that father was screaming at one of our kids who, screaming at me because one of our kids was looking at a kid with a tumor, I'd be like, bro, because you know me, I don't run from anything.
I know.
Anything. And that's a detriment sometimes.
But then also think about it from the other way around. Like, if we were the ones that had the kid with the very visible disability and everywhere he went, people would scream. At some point, we will be the ones that are breaking, and at some point, we will be the ones that are going to take away that teaching moment from the other person, right?
And then whose fault and whose problem is that?
It's ours to deal with.
And that's the problem.
But, that's the thing, though. Like, we are in our own bubble, and they're in their own bubble. They got their own problem to deal with, and we got our own problem to deal with.
Yeah, and
right?
When you step out of bounds, when you do it the wrong way, like, this is what happens.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like, I'm going to go back to the idea that there are tens of thousands of homeless veterans living out on the streets. And here's why I'm going to take it a step further than that Republican message that usually comes out. They're called bums. They're called useless. They're called, get a job, get a life.
Yeah.
And it's like, these are people who don't want to be out there. These are people who have mental illness. The invisible hurt,
yeah.
The invisible disability.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These are people who nobody cares about. Nobody wants to spend time with. Nobody wants to see. And nobody pities. And if there was a little bit of pity, because sometimes we call that humanity, what would we have then? We'd probably have actual programs for people to help out. That's why when you were showing me the homeless things, they were making I believe it was plexiglass, not actual glass, right?
Something like
glass
that,
would be too expensive. But they had the plexiglass shelters with, something that looked like lawn chair furniture there, whatever, for homeless people during the winter because it gets cold. Yeah, in Toronto. Thank you. Yeah. This, in Toronto, to take, hey, it's going to be cold out. It's freaking Canada. It's Toronto. It gets cold in the winters. So here's a place for people to sleep. I guess that being an American, like I'm still American. I look at it as you're complaining that they're glass and they don't have privacy. And I'm looking at it as...
It's something.
Yeah.
But for me, it's
people are actually giving a home to these people, even if it's just for a season.
Yeah.
My God, man. We don't get that in the States.
I know, but I'm not going to
Bums die every day.
I'm not going to lower our standards, right?
No, you're me, right.
It's like, no.
I had to see it from my angle.
People deserve dignity, and that wasn't dignified.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yeah, one of the things where Canada's better than America, most places at least in America that I've ever heard of, Instead of just leaving it to a church, this was actually a government program.
Yeah, the city of Toronto is organizing housing for homeless people for the winter. So,
again, this is just one of the things that I see. Like, we need more humanity. Videos like that where they're basically saying, that was the problem that I had, is that they're saying, don't pity me. Fine, I'm happy to throw you into a fire if that's what would you feel better that way? Would you rather me just ignore you? Okay, because I know what I talk with. Like, what I'm saying? No, they're wrong. The people who made that, the people who participated in that, they are wrong. Okay? Hide yourself. Because if you show yourself, we're going to pity you. Hopefully the good people will pity you. You want the bad people, the people who just ignore you and say F that person, by all means. Go hang out with those people. But for me, I prefer the people who actually have a conscience. Not the bleeding heart liberal, thing that people talk about. I want people who actually have humanity in their hearts and compassion. And they could say, oh, shoot. That's it. Just that shows me that you're human. I prefer to live amongst humans.
I got to see. I got to see what you're talking about.
By all means. Let's move on, finally. So, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 80s movie producer, Bob Herbeck, wants to do a reboot. And he's been trying for a while now. Do you remember the 1980s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie? The kids were watching it, or watching it with them and whatnot?
I remember watching it with my family. Yeah.
Oh, you remember watching it with your... Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought I was actually showing you that for the first time. You didn't say anything.
Because I was never into it. It's like one of those things, Nintendo, teenage... See, I can never even say their name. All those things, my family was into it.
I am judging you hard right now.
That's okay. Those were not my cup of tea.
So let me get this straight. When Master Shredder is tied up in the Foot Clan game room, when he's dying, and in his dying breath, he's trying to help out this one kid who was instrumental in him and the Turtles in the Trouble.
You're making me sound like I'm evil.
And then all of a sudden, and it's like Leonardo's just like, he's like meditating. He's like, Master Splinter? He like thought he saw him, and he's like, guys, I think I found a way to converse with Master Splinter. And they all go out. It's like, just be quiet, just meditate, and it's around the fire. And they're just okay, fine. And even Raphael, who's the angry one, he's always angry. He's like me, he's always angry. And it's just like, and they calm down, and then the fire changes blue. And then suddenly, Master Splinter's ghostly form, like the ghost of Obi-Wan comes back, and he guides the turtles from practically beyond the grave and says, I will always love you, my sons. And you have no soul. You're dead inside. You're automaton. You freaking robotic monster.
I'm not. I was just never able to get into it as a kid. And my family loved it. And they probably shoved it down my throat. And I just never got into it. Same thing with Nintendo. I really don't like the Nintendo.
I'm getting misty-eyed right now from that story.
I can see that.
I'm getting misty-eyed
I'm not evil, I swear. It's just one of those things. I never got...
You're the person that those ectodactyl guys want to hang out with.
Why?
Because you're just going to look at them like, screw you.
Yeah.
Wow.
You want like a neutral reaction? Sure.
Oh, man. Dude, that was just such an amazing movie. And all that a lot of us have been saying is, why don't they just do that? Especially
So
with
they're gonna
today's
redo it?
technology. No, they're not.
Oh,
They're not. They're not
so
giving the
is-
green light. They just keep on saying, well, we're just going to do another CGI reboot. It's like, if those aren't working, why don't you go back to the thing that did work?
Yeah.
Like, there were 3 movies, and a lot of times we don't like to talk about the third one. I still like the third one. I don't care. They were samurais, damn it. Turtles in Time, baby. Anyway.
Like, I love Daredevil, and it's kind of very related.
Well, yeah, of course it is, but that's neither here nor there. This is
I
Teenage
know.
Mutant
I'm
Ninja
just
Turtles,
saying
man.
that. Like, I just really... I don't know. I like... Hello, you're talking to 10-year-old me who decided, this is not for me.
Ray Fisher. Remember Ray Fisher?
Yeah, I remember.
Cyborg from the...
Yeah.
Every single one of his... There was a podcast, We the Geek, something like, I forget what it was, Arab guy. I saw the Arabic writing and whatnot. He was interviewing Ray Fisher. And Fisher said on that podcast that, oh yeah, there's every single scene that I was in, I had to reshoot when Whedon came in.
Okay.
Except for one scene. And it was a scene where they were all on top of the rooftop in Gotham City talking to Commissioner Gordon. And it was a funny scene, you know, saying whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then they moved on. That's the only scene that Fisher was in that wasn't reshot. So I don't know about any of the other actors, but just him alone. You know, Zack Snyder said that Ray Fisher's character, Cyborg, was the heart and soul of his movie.
Mm-hmm.
So if every single scene that he was in had to be reshot with him in it, you know, of course, is that why because I looked at this movie and I was like, one of the main reasons why I was such a non-fan of the Snyder Cut, because I'm like, dude, they just used all the old footage. Like, they reshot a couple things, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they said. They reshot a couple things, and I drank the Kool-Aid. I believed the hype. They only reshot a couple things. So his boring-ass role in that movie is the same boring-ass role that would be in the other movie, you know, the Snyder Cut.
Okay.
But now it turns out that all of his scenes were reshot, which would explain why I was not even remotely invested in his character. And since I wasn't invested in his character...
Okay.
That's actually one of the main reasons. I literally, the biggest complaint I had was Cyborg, one of the most interesting characters in the DC universe, is just this guy who's acting like Grid. His fans will understand. That's when his mind goes away and his personality goes away, he's just the machine, because he's Cyborg, half machine, half human. When he's just the machine part, he's called Grid, and he's an evil son of a gun, you know? So I'm like, he's just mostly acting like a subdued Grid. Like, this is boring. This is a boring freaking movie, you know? So it's like the Snyder Cut can't be any good, but now all of a sudden I'm thinking maybe it could be.
How does Ray Fisher feel about having to do multiple reshoots?
That wasn't a big... That's just part of your contract, and you're paid extra to do that, so, like, it is what it is. He didn't like the idea that his role was changed and the way that he and other people of color were treated on the stage also. So there's that. Keeping that theme going, John Boyega, remember he played Finn in the Star Wars movies, the new ones? I don't like to call them Star Wars movies. Those new things that were done. So in an interview about a year ago, he said how, let's see if I can actually bring that up. He said, what I would say to Disney is to not bring a black character, market them to be much more important in the franchise than they are, and then have them pushed to the side. It's not good. Well, apparently, Disney got back to him about that.
Okay.
And he says in another podcast recently, it was a very honest, very transparent conversation. There was a lot of explaining on their end in terms of the way that they saw things, and they gave me a chance to also explain what my experience was like. I think that was, I don't know, like, can you really hope for much more than that?
No, I mean, like, it seems like a good dialogue. We're not privy to everything that happened behind closed doors, but yeah, if you felt that they hyped up for the sake of identity his character.
I think they did. I felt that they did too.
And then, like...
That first movie, I was positive they were going to do something amazing with him.
Yeah, but like he wasn't.
The original, the original idea for the ending of his story was that he doesn't just bring over one former stormtrooper. he brings over all of them. Mm-hmm. All of the First Order stormtroopers. He's the one who converts all of them and brings them over against the First Order. That would have been epic.
And it makes sense because, as it is in these movies, those are kids that have been kidnapped from their families.
Yes, and brainwashed.
Yeah.
They only have numbers, designations, not real names.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been amazing to see him do something like that. Instead, we got Ray.
Very scared.
There's something I wanted to tell you. Hey, before you were going to tell me something. Oh, it was nothing.
Yeah.
We never found out what it was. Apparently, it was, I think I'm force sensitive, but we never even got to see that in the movie. It's like, this is booty.
Yeah, it was. It was. I'm glad that he spoke his piece and that it was heard.
I am too. And I'm also glad it was heard. I guess at least they acknowledged him. Mm-hmm. Maybe it was just, we got to do people control, damage control, you know what I'm saying? But at least they did something. DC. Yeah, as opposed to DC and Warner Brothers. Yeah. The Strange Talent of Luthor Strode. This is a 2011 comic book written by Justin Jordan. I know his name, but I was looking at my handwriting, and that sucks. And drawn by Trad Moore. This is a comic book I read when we were in Saudi. And it was basically, I think it was actually the first comic book I read when we were in Saudi, when we moved to Jeddah. Mm-hmm. Because, I was just like, But then I was like, oh, Strange Talent, let's see what this, I saw what it was about. It was about a kid. I think it was only like 5 or 6 issues. Anyways, it was about a kid who, when I was a kid, comic books used to have all sorts of goofy articles in them. Not articles, advertisements in them.
Yeah.
Seahorses or whatever those sea creatures are. They're just little bacteria. And bicycles, and you can get a job doing this, and paper routes, whatever. And one of the things you used to always see is the kid at Muscle Beach being picked on he's trying to talk to this girl. He gets punked out by this big, strong guy on the beach. And he's like, that's messed up, man. And he goes off and he starts exercising. And he comes back and he just mushes the guy down. Okay. And then, he's like, and all the girls are hanging on him. And it's like, hey, buy my book and I'll, teach you how to get super strong. I never bought the book. But I did look at that commercial like, ooh. You know what I'm saying? Every one of us kids did that. So, this is a story about a kid who actually purchases that book.
Oh.
And he magically gets ridiculously powerful, like Dragon Ball Z level powerful almost. But there's a catch to his power and where it actually came from. And it's like a really amazing comic book. It was a freaking genius comic book. You know what I'm saying? Great. It was independent, had nothing to do with Marvel or DC, you know? It was fantastic. In fact, somebody just asked me earlier in the show, what's my favorite independent comic book? I should have mentioned this one. The Strange Talent of Luthor Strode. Freaking absurdly amazing. And it's going to be a feature film. They're going to make it into a movie.
The kids would love it.
Oh, no, the kids can't watch this.
Oh, really?
No, sorry, this is adult.
Oh, well.
There's people pulling arms out and stuff like that, popping eyeballs out. Yeah, no, kids aren't watching this. So, anyway, it's...
at heart, then.
Yeah, from the producers of The Expanse, Bloodshot, and The Witcher. So we don't know, who it's going to go. Is it going to go to theaters? Is it going to go to freaking streaming? We don't know yet.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a feature-length movie, and boom. Mm-hmm. Not too shabby. Let's talk a little bit about Johnny Depp. Mm-hmm. So, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Johnny Depp just lost a libel case against the London newspaper, The Sun. They said that he beat his wife and he was an abuser and a wife beater and stuff like that. And he was like, dude, you don't know any of the facts.
Yeah.
So that's not cool. So he sued them. I think that by now we should all know that you don't sue these tabloid newspapers because you're never going to win. Well, he didn't win. In fact, the way that the judge explained this, mind you, his case against Amber Heard is still being heard. Mm-hmm. So without that case being completed yet, the judge in London for this, Sun libel case had to go with what he had. And he says, well, I hear what you're saying, and the Sun is a, newspaper of ill repute. Mm-hmm. It's like the National Enquirer and all that nonsense, but it's a tabloid, more than an actual newspaper. But What they described seems accurate. You apparently beat your wife, and they called you a wife beater. I don't see what the problem is. And that was the end of the case. Yeah, so it's a shame. That's actually a huge setback and a huge miscalculation for Depp. Because, whether he did or not, we don't know. We don't know if he actually did or not. Some people believe this, some people believe that. I'm more in the middle. I've looked into this, not extensively, but fairly extensively. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I believe him more than I believe her. That's for sure. But some of the things that she says does seem to be backed up, except that most of the things she's saying is actually being disproven by other people saying, you actually stole my story. Mm-hmm. Remember, we actually talked about that ourselves. So, yeah, I'm believing him a little bit more than her right now, but I'm not the judge. I'm sure as hell not the executioner. So, and I haven't been asked to be on any juries yet. Maybe something comes to Canada. Who knows? So, what do you call it? This actually, again, this was a horrible miscalculation on his part because he's just been taken off of the third movie of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Warner Brothers contacted him and asked him to step down from the movie. So he put out a post that said, hey, Warner Brothers asked me to step down, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to bow out, and, they're going to recast, and blah, blah, blah. We'll see what's up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was, it was a horrible misstep on his part to go after them for libel before he had his case.
Sorted.
Actually, yeah, sorted is probably the best word for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this was, yeah.
Yeah, he probably just went with emotions, right?
And shot himself in the foot.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Too bad.
Well, yeah, we'll see what's up. Again, the final case hasn't been heard, but this was a really bad misstep on his part. Finally, for this, except how long has this thing been going for? Geez, we've been doing for an hour and 15 minutes. Let's do a couple more minutes. We've got, finally in the world of movies, Blade. So, you're familiar with Patton Oswalt?
Sounds very familiar.
He's this short, fat guy, and he's white. That's important to the story. But he's just this short, fat guy who's always, he talks and he's always smiling, but he just seems like the most sardonic son of a bitch you've ever met. It's like a guy who smiles, but it's like he's looking, even though he's so short, like he's looking down at you. Because just the way that he comes across is just so, I really don't like him in shows or movies.
Was he in Friends?
I don't know if he was in Friends. No. I know who you're thinking about. No, he's actually a funny actor. I'm trying to remember his name, but I got his face. He's actually a funny guy. No, this guy, he was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He played a character who had 5 twins and a sister, and he played his sister too. And he's like the ultra liberal. He's not about Bernie Sanders. He's about freaking Biden, who we just found out today. It's official. He's the president now. But this guy, he's smug. He's super smug. You know what? Let me see if I can actually bring up his face for you really quick, just so you have a face for me. Patton Oswalt.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, there you go. You know this guy.
Yeah,
You've seen him before, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, he was apparently on the set of Blade, the third Blade movie with Wesley Snipes. Mm-hmm. Excuse me, Dr. Wesley Snipes. Respect, all right? Yeah. Respect. So there's been a couple of people who have said that he was out of control in that movie. A lot of people have said he was out of control in that movie. Triple H was asked about it, because Triple H, I remember, was in that movie from wrestling. And he was like, yeah, he got into arguments with a couple of people, whatever. He didn't, say anything. He didn't start anything with me. He was talking about, some of the guys who he felt were supposed to know better. And he kept on saying, these guys don't know how to make a movie. These guys don't know what the hell they're doing, and blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. He's like, I didn't dislike him, but I didn't want to hang out with him. I didn't keep in contact with him afterwards. You know what I'm saying? He was cool to me, though. It was just, it wasn't a good look for him. That's all he said about it.
Yeah.
I've heard other people, I don't remember names, saying things. I don't even remember Patton Oswalt being in the movie, which is funny because Wesley Snipes barely remembers him even being on the set. Yeah, Patton Oswalt went and said that Wesley went up to the director, David S. Goyer, and he choked him and stuff like that, and like he was smacking people around and all these things. And on the internet, of course, people right away start flipping out. Oh my God! So there's a report, an actual report of blah 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 blah. Well, Wesley Snipes says, "Let me tell you one thing. If I had to strangle David Goyer, you probably wouldn't be talking to me right now. A black guy with muscle strangling a director of a movie is going to jail. I guarantee you." Now, he did actually go to jail. This has to be known, but it was for tax evasion. Mm-hmm. It wasn't for anything violent.
Yeah.
You know? And he paid his debt to society. It's done. It's done. That's over with. He was never charged with assault. No one has ever said anything like that about him. They just said that he wasn't happy with the things that were going on in that movie, and that's it. And of course, the typical thing came out, he's difficult to work with, and now it's hard for him to get movie roles.
Ouch.
Yeah, that same nonsense that people always say. So I don't know if he did it. I don't know if he didn't do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I look at it as, I wasn't there. I hear somebody talking, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But he goes on. He says, now here's where we get into a further case here. This is part of the challenges that we as African Americans face here in America. These microaggressions, Snipes stated. The presumptions that one white guy can make a statement and that statement stands as true. Why would people believe his version is true? Because they're predispositioned to believe that the black guy is always the problem. And all it takes is one person, Mr. Oswalt, who I really don't know. I can barely remember him on the set. But it's fascinating that his statement alone was enough to make people go, yeah, you know, Snipes, he has a problem. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if he actually did it or not. I don't know. I'm not here to make that judgment. That's not who I am. But it is funny that Patton Oswalt comes out and starts saying these things.
In a vacuum.
Yeah, exactly. And then people just right away, oh, I believe. Like, why? When did Patton Oswalt ever become an expert in anything? Anything. He's a low-life B-movie actor who, like, his wife died. I feel so bad for you. Lots of people's wives have died. For the love of God. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to give you the benefit of the doubt saying that somebody tried to choke out a freaking actor, or excuse me, a director, and it's David S. Goyer. He's a skinny little pencil neck dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, Snipes could have done that with one hand, like, leaning the opposite direction, for crying out loud.
I mean, like a verbal altercation, and like it would have been all over the news.
Probably. Well, this was like 20 years ago, but still, this would have been something big. And he probably would have gone to jail.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just weird. I mean, I get it. He's in the movie, whatever. Anyway, I want to go over the top 10 comics really quick before we close this one out. So, Batman, The Three Jokers, issue number 2 was number 1 for September. Detective Comics number 1027 was number 2. Number 3 was Venom, issue number 28. So, the first non-Batman story. 10 of Swords Creation, issue number 1, and Thor, issue number 5. Those were the top 5 comic books. Yeah. What's interesting is that the first 2 are Batman. And we see already that number 6 is actually Batman, also the regular Batman title, issue number 98. Mm-hmm. But Thor and Venom are actually by the same guy, Donny Cates. We can also see down here, number 8, Web of Venom Wraith was, also Donny Cates. So, interesting. The number 1 here, 10 of Swords Creation, that begins the new story arc, and it's Jonathan Hickman. He's known for being big, but it's only his number 1 that was big on there. We'll see what happens with the other 10 of Swords stories, if any of those are on here also, next month.
Yeah.
But for now, like, it's easy for an issue number 1 to get on a list, relatively easy. Case in point, number 10 is Iron Man number 1, and right now most people are saying that they despise this Iron Man story. I hate it. I stopped reviewing it.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? But number 1 got on there because we were hoping it was going to be something big, plus all the variant covers, and it only made it to number 10. Anyway, so that's the and Spawn number 7 is number 310 is number 7 on this list. So yay, we got an independent on there. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I want to give another quick shout to Into the AM. Don't forget to check out my link which will actually bring you there into the am.com/CBU10. That's 10. And you will get 10% off. Join their club. Get a free t-shirt for a month. Check it out. Anyway, that's it. We good?
We're good.
Okay, you heard it. We're good. Professor Bill and Warda. Comic Book University.
Okay.
Class dismissed.